But I have Shiryu below King.
Whoa!
Yep.
What?
I'm going with Killer. I think Killer. Recording?
Yeah, it's just rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
You're watching Anime Sundays.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Anime Sundays, the show where we talk about anime on Sundays. And of course, today we have
Rob, Showdown Showdown, thank you so much for having me.
Sir.
Let's get right into it, man.
So today, me and Rob will be doing a very elite ranking. We have a total of 11 characters. These are the second in command of all the Yonko crews that exist, the top 3 worst generation crews that exist, and the Revolutionary Army. And we're including the Pirate King's second in command as well. Aside from the Marines and their rankings. This idea was inspired from Oda's manga cover. I believe it was like 1030 something. But it dawned a very interesting topic of who is the strongest vice captain. Also, this is going to be some manga spoilers in here. We are going to be talking about some of the battles that we've seen some of these vice captains fighting in the manga. So, if you're not caught up, go ahead and scroll now. So, you may be asking, why are we using a total of 11 characters? Since there's a little discrepancy about who Blackbeard's number 2 is, we are going to be including Burgess and Shiryu because, we obviously know that Burgess at first was kind of the main one who was the vice captain, but now Shiryu has kind of rose up in the ranks as well. So we're going to have them both in that conversation. We're going to go back and forth, starting with our number 11. Rob, who do you got at the bottom of the list?
At the bottom of the list, I have Beppo from, obviously, Law's crew. Yes, he is a mink, but, at max power, I would see a Sulong Beppo putting in some mid-tier work.
Right. I've seen that too.
I don't think Beppo, outside of the Sulong form, is really going to be doing anything of substance when we're talking about the rest of the vice captains on this chart here. So I'm definitely going to have Beppo at number 11.
Beppo's obviously at the bottom of this list. I think it's kind of tough on Law because it's like, how are you going to keep moving along with a crew like this? Like, I understand you're the surgeon of death and you're not necessarily trying to take over the seas.
Well, we've seen how he's moving along. He's scrambling for alliances. That's how he has to do right now. He has to scramble for alliances because his crew is not up to par. Outside of Beppo, who's left? Come on.
I agree. Beppo is right there with me, bottom of the list. We're getting him out of here. Rob, who do you have at the number 10 spot?
Number 10, I'm going with Burgess. I know we've added Burgess to that picture as well. He's obviously, Blackbeard's right-hand man, but I don't think he's contending with a lot of the top vice captains that we're speaking on because we've seen him literally get destroyed by a Sabo. We've seen Burgess not really hang up with a lot of those top tier fighters in the One Piece world, and he was actually scrambling on his way to Baltigo to expose their location. He's pretty much becoming, one of the sentry guys for Blackbeard's crew to try to give them intel on what's going on. This is how far Burgess's role has fallen once Blackbeard has picked up more people in Impel Down.
So Rob, I agree with you. Burgess packed up by a Sabo without a flame fruit. Luffy was getting ready to pack him. Your boy Burgess has got a lot. He's loyal, but he's got a lot of work to do if he's gonna try to be a contending vice captain. All right, Rob, now we're getting into it.
Yes.
Who do you have at number 9?
Yes. I'm going with Killer. I think Killer did amazingly in the their en route piece that we're seeing in the manga. I think Killer was holding his own. He obviously joined Zoro in a combo attack against Kaido. I thought that was nice. I thought that was cool. But I don't think Killer is contending with a lot of the top vice captains that we're speaking on. I think Killer obviously, he lost to a Zoro earlier on before Zoro was even where he is right now in the manga. This is something that made me say, whoa, what's Killer really going to be doing against some of the top tier vice captains if he's losing to Zoro this early? So I'm just going to say Killer's at 9. I do think Killer has kind of started making his name a little bit as a worst gen contender. Like now we are kind of a little bit more confident that he's in that top 5, worst gen. We kind of see him
surpassing the other worst gen a little bit because of the input he had with Kaido. And of course, how he held up against Hawkins, right? He did take a lot of damage, right? Especially after been fighting already with Kaido. But again, Killer, you're still going to, need to do a little bit more. All right, cool. So who do we have at number 8? Oh boy.
All right. At number 8, I'm going with King.
Oh, wow.
I'm going with the right-hand man of Kaido in the Beast Pirates. Clearly because I think King needs to be where Yamato is. And I think this is where King's lacking. King's lacking in the department of hockey, and Kaido spoke on this, and I think that King needed to show me a little bit more hockey feats, because in his fight against Zoro, I believe that Enma was a bigger role in holding Zoro back than King was. Because listen, King, although he's very powerful, he has great resistance because he happens to be a Lunarian, which is incredible, but he relied too heavily on the fact that he is a Lunarian. And Zoro was able to read this, understanding that, listen, if you drop the flames down in your back, then this is going to change the speed and the defense buffs and nerfs that you're getting. And he was able to read between the lines and say, you know what, all right, if I can just read when you're having the flames higher or lower, then I can attack based on what you're doing. And King had no answer for that because King does not have the hockey needed to counter Zoro with Enma. Somebody like a Yamato will be able to do that. Yeah. King needed to be where Yamato is.
I think he was relying very much on his Devil Fruit and his Lunarian abilities over what he should have been relying on, which was his hockey. But I have someone a little lower than King, and I know this is gonna upset you, but I have Shiryu below King.
Whoa!
Yep. Now let me explain. Now you know me. I'm a man of I need to see it to believe it. Now, we know Shiryu has a Devil Fruit. We know his Devil Fruit is Absalom's Devil Fruit, Gecko Moria's old zombie friend. He has the ability to turn invisible.
Right.
Now, if he fought Gecko, that's cool. But if I look at Shiryu's feats from what makes him such a dangerous Marine, you could honestly say that he's lower than Magellan. I think that's still a neck and neck conversation.
They beat the Whitebeard Pirates before he even had a Devil Fruit.
But we know that was majority, mainly Blackbeard.
Blackbeard obviously was countering against a Marco, which I will get to later. But I mean, there's still people like Diamond Josu. There's still people like Flower Blade Visa who happen to box with a Mihawk at one point in time. And Shiryu was boxing against them before he even had his Devil Fruit. Now we're adding the clear.
But I feel like his Devil
and he's
Fruit
still this low.
I do. I feel like his Devil Fruit really didn't make him that much stronger. Because in the world of observation hockey, what does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, if your pretty thing's invisible, you're going invisible, that's not doing much. Now, I feel that more like Shiryu had his cards in play, fighting maybe a Diamond Josu in them. But again, I don't necessarily think that Diamond Josu in them is stronger than some of these vice captains. So that's why I'm like, Shiryu, not to say he's weak. I'm not saying he's weak. But I just think that
he fought them without a Devil Fruit. I'll say that. It was a weaker form of Shiryu. I just think from what I seen him do his little bout with Gecko Moria, he was chilling.
It was chilling, but it wasn't giving me like, oh, I'm pulling up to Wano and I'm a problem here. I do think he's out here over Burgess, but I need to see more. That's why I have him there, of course.
Okay. At number 7, I have Charlotte Katakuri. And I, for one, wasn't gonna have Katakuri over King when I was obviously an anime only watcher, but after I got to read what King was able to pull off against Zoro, it really made me respect Katakuri's hockey, because Katakuri has future sight observation, he has conquerors clearly, and he was able to push Luffy into a Gear 4 Snake Man. And this is where I think, can a Gear 4 Snake Man defeat a King? I think so. And he's sitting right underneath Big Mom in power. He is in the rightful place. When it comes to Kaido, I think of Kaido, then Yamato, then King. When we're talking about Big Mom, I think of Big Mom, then Katakuri. There's a difference. Katakuri is in that Yamato range. King is not. And this is why I have Katakuri over King.
I think there's a lot of characters on this list that Gear 4 Snake Man Luffy can defeat. And so that's why I think I have him a little higher.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with my next person, and it is King. It is King. I have King right over Shiryu because, again, I want to give a little credit to King because in the beginning of Wano, King did seem like a serious problem. Sanji was having trouble. There was a lot of just like, oh man, King's here. What do we do? Oh, we got to avoid King. When I look at that, like you said, Kaido, Yamato, King, I would put like a Blackbeard over Yamato but under Kaido, but then like Shiryu right there. So I still think like a King is a little bit over a Shiryu just because of he's been with Kaido so long and he still has his accolades and they've been conquering for a minute.
At number 6, I'm going with Marco the Phoenix. I think Marco is incredibly powerful. I think he's done great things in Wano. He's obviously boxed against a big mom for a little bit. He held off King and Queen at the same time. His mythical Zoan obviously has great regenerative capabilities. I just want to see Marco show us a Devil Fruit Awakening. I think that is the last thing that Marco needs to show us for him to really shine at maximum potential. He was that guy in Wano. He was doing all the dirty work down there, and I think Marco can still get busy, so I have him right in the middle of the list. I just wanted to see a Devil Fruit Awakening for Marco. That's the last thing I need to see from him.
This is really interesting. I have Sabo.
Wow.
I have Sabo at number 6. I don't have him over Marco because I don't know if Sabo would do a better contending ship against Blackbeard than Marco did. I don't know if Sabo would have a better contending ship against a Gear 4 Snake Man Luffy. If you take the Snake Man that beat Katakuri, I think Sabo would have a lot harder time because we know he doesn't have that observation. And especially we know that he lost whatever battle he had with the Marines in this Wano arc. I don't know if I could say he can just beat Marco.
At number 5, I'm going with Zoro. I'm going with the wielder of the Enma Blade. Clearly he trained with Mihawk and now he has insane durability, insane hockey feats. Advanced Conqueror's Hockey was able to even scar Kaido, was able to block an attack from Kaido and Big Mom and live to tell the tale. This is how powerful Zoro is now. I definitely have him up here, and like I said, the only thing that was holding him back in that King fight, I feel like, was Enma. Once he masters Enma, he's gonna move even higher up in the scales of the One Piece version.
This is gonna be funny, but my number 5 is Katakuri.
Wow.
I have Katakuri right above Sabo. I think, examples of hockey he was showing against Luffy. If you want to give Wano a tier, it's some pretty Wano level stuff. I think Katakuri would, if he was really in the Wano battles, he would have been a great contender. I think he would have packed up King too. He's got the conquerors, he's got the observation. The awakening, we already know, sure, you got your Logia, but we don't know how far Sabo has come with his awakening, his Logia powers. We know he's still kind of fresh in the Devil Fruit world, where Katakuri's been doing this as a child.
My number 4, this is where we start putting respect on Shiryu. I have Shiryu at number 4. I have him way up there because of the Payback War and how I believe Shiryu got stronger after the Payback War. Mm-hmm. And it's because I have such high regard for the Whitebeard Pirates. Even though Blackbeard has Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, and as a Devil Fruit user, Blackbeard is one of the scariest out there. I do think that Blackbeard is lacking in the department of hockey. And I think that Whitebeard Pirates still know how to contend with people. You have Clarabelle Visa that was sparring against a Mihawk during the Marineford War. Diamond Jozu was taking attacks from Mihawk and throwing them to the sky, boxing against Crocodile, doing all types of things. We know they know something about hockey. And I don't think that Blackbeard alone just went in there and knocked everybody out. Yeah. So Shiryu had to be getting busy. And this is before he acquired Absalom's fruit. Now that he has Absalom's clear fruit, I think Shiryu is in a different class.
The Payback War is a lot of questions. We don't know the MVP. We assume that Jesus and Shiryu were the MVPs. But are we still confident that Shiryu is stronger than all the other Impel Down members?
Yes, which is why Blackbeard picked him up and appointed him to a super high spot. You don't believe he got stronger since then?
I believe he got strong, but I feel like they all came from the same level, and I feel like sometimes we're sleeping on the other members of the Blackbeard crew. I think they're all kind of in the
everybody
same ballpark.
Everybody was a level 6 Impel Down member, but not everybody in level 6 Impel Down is of equal status and equal power. I mean, Jinbei was down there with Crocodile. If I ask you Jinbei versus Crocodile, who are you saying?
And I agree. It's Jinbei.
Right.
I just don't know.
He was a head jailer.
He was the head jailer, but that means he was under Magellan.
Right.
And that's why I kind of have a trouble putting Shiryu so high, because just 2 years ago, he was weaker than Magellan, and Magellan compared to damn near pre-time Ski Luffy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pre-time Ski Luffy was giving Magellan a hard time.
Hold on. Magellan he had Blackbeard on the ropes. I mean, let's stop doing what we're doing right now. I mean Devil Fruit is insane. Blackbeard is scoping out specific Devil Fruits for his crewmates. The clear fruit was obviously one that Shiryu thought would best fit his style of fighting. Which is why I think it's not something that Shiryu was, I have a random Devil Fruit and I have to figure out how it works. This is something that Shiryu was scoping out for a while and said, that's the one I need. That's the one I want. And Blackbeard went there and got it done.
So I'll move on to my number 4. And I think we got to put some respect on my good sir, Roanoa Zoro.
Okay.
I think we got to put some respect. I do now have Zoro over Katakuri.
Wow.
I feel like Zoro's observation already has been like a very keen observation skills. We see when he fights all the time, like the swordsman skills and stuff he pulls off, just little stuff like slicing bullets and defending it, like just being aware of everything that's going on, right? When Big Mom and Kaido were coming up, everybody was like, oh, this might actually kill us all. And Zoro's the only one like, yo, back up. And he had a solution.
I think, when it comes to durability, that's the main thing that puts
that's
Zoro over Katakuri.
You take a lot. It's him and Luffy are like
very, very
durable.
Right, absolutely. Top 3, I'm going with Sabo. I'm going with Sabo at number 3, absolutely. Chief of Staff of Revolutionary Army. I spoke on him having aces that was earlier, but I do think that because he was trained by Monkey D. Dragon, the haki alone is ridiculous. And then we can add to the fact that he was taught how to use Fisherman Karate. On top of that, Ace's Devil Fruit is one of the most beloved in the series for a reason, and now that Sabo has access to this fruit, I think his potential is even that much higher. I do think that Sabo right now, obviously, we know that there's something going on with him, and we don't know what's going on necessarily, but I do think that the forces that were putting Sabo in a compromised position, they had to go all out in order to make that happen.
I just think Zoro, specifically as a swordsman, he always happens to find a solution that is the best way to defeat his opponent. I look at like a Zoro finding a way for Sabo. That's me. Especially since the haki, we know Zoro has slight conquerors. We know the haki's there. So I think Zoro is still for me. In my number 3, I think it's Marco. I have Marco over Zoro and Cat. I mean, mainly number 1. If Zoro still is having to have this hard-fought battle against King, and Marco is still fighting King and Queen at the same time, I'm still kind of like, I think I want to give that to Marco.
Wait, hold on. Zoro blocked an attack from Kaido and Big Mom.
One attack.
Marco held off King and Queen he didn't defeat them. He held them off.
But it was simultaneous though. They were attacking at the same time. And
one does not equal the other though.
Zoro did block that attack, but it was more like a diversion. He diverged it for a second. That's what they said. Just enough time for him to get away. So it wasn't Zoro was like, stand back, yo. And dispelled the Conqueror move that they did. It was more like, yo, watch out. And he kind of, flipped it. Now, it is a serious thing. But I still think that it's different because it's a swordsmanship, but I feel like Marco's not getting hit with that attack. You know what I'm trying to say? We've seen Marco get his bout with Big Mom. You know what I'm saying? It was small, but again, he was still in there pushing back Prometheus.
To me, he needs advanced conquerors, man. I think I need to see it.
I just think that Marco here kind of came in like the shy Rayleigh of the arc. Like how Rayleigh came in when the Strides were dealing with Zoro. Marco was like, let me come in here, help out my young kids real quick, and make sure everybody's good. Now, when Zoro gets Edmund under control, yeah, he's the problem. That's it, raps. But in that Wano arc, that battle against King, I still think Marco might still take that W.
At number 2, I have Ben Beckman. Shank's right hand man. Yeah. For obvious reasons. Pretty much stopped Kizaru for a moment, but that's enough for me. Clearly, he is obviously a long-range fighter, and we can see he uses a weapon, but we don't know for sure. That might just be one of his forms of fighting.
Yeah.
But the fact that an admiral paused for a second is really all I needed to see from Ben Beckman to know that he's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for me. There's no vice captains having admirals stop for a moment.
Right.
So, except for one, which we know who is.
Right. And the only one besides that would be Rayleigh.
Yeah.
Not number one.
We know Rayleigh is still
strongest vice captain.
Top vice captain, even in the old age. They're gonna have a long way to go before. Maybe not super long, but they got a ways to go before they're on the knowledgeable level of hockey that Rayleigh is on. I feel like if Rayleigh was in Wano, like he wouldn't even be stressing as much because he's just seen all these type of attacks and hockey situation before. He was just like, oh, I know how to deal with that. I know how to deal with that. But yeah, y'all, that's the ranking of the vice captains list. As you can see, we have a little discrepancy with some characters. But we want y'all to let us know who do y'all think the proper rankings are. Who's supposed to be at the bottom? Who's supposed to be at the top? And with that, we'll see y'all next Sunday.
Peace.